So DeepSeek is what everyone is talking about at this point of time. Everyone is familiar somewhat with ChatGPT, but ChatGPT, at least on the Apple App Store, has been unseated by DeepSeek. But what are the differences? There are so many differences, but for the sake of the user experience and some of the questions that are being asked of both these models, let's try and find out what the differences could actually be. The DeepSeek development costs $6 million. Peanuts when you compare it to what ChatGPT cost, over $100 million and more over many, many more years. Is DeepSeek open source? Yes, it is. Is ChatGPT open source? No, it isn't. What are DeepSeek's strengths? We don't know very many, but it claims that its strengths include coding, reasoning, and mathematical tasks. ChatGPT's strengths, creative writing, conversational and on current affairs. DeepSeek subscription free for users at this moment, but it's extremely slow. ChatGPT subscription starts at $20 a month. DeepSeek hardware, minimal, uses older NVIDIA GPUs. ChatGPT hardware, high-end GPUs at this point of time. DeepSeek performance, fast, excels in technical tasks, though I will point out that there are many, many lapses there. ChatGPT performance, strong storytelling, humor, very, very conversational, like it says. DeepSeek censorship, challenges from China government influence, a huge amount of propaganda we encountered, a refusal to answer even basic questions of a even slightly or obliquely contentious nature as far as China are concerned. ChatGPT censorship, less restricted, but biases from training data, obviously. So these are just the broad differences between ChatGPT and DeepSeek, but we'd like to understand it better from those actually in the AI trenches, those involved in AI, those adopting AI in a big way, and those part of an ecosystem that will perhaps one day make India the site of the next DeepSeek or ChatGPT. It's a big question that everyone's asking here in India. We asked it yesterday as well, but there still isn't a satisfactory answer to it. So let's go to the experts, those in the world of AI. Priya Guliani is CEO of Earth ID. It's an AI blockchain-based startup. She's with us live from London. Priya, welcome. And Ananay Batra is founder and CEO of Listener AI. He's a person who has grown his company to 1.5 million users, a large amount of revenue. He's been able to raise money as well and actually built an AI-based company that is doing things out there. He's got large, blue chip clients in different parts of the world using AI tech developed by him here in India. So Ananay and Priya, welcome to the both of you. Ananay, since I'd reached out to you first, I'll start with you. You had a tweet yesterday which I found really interesting. I think you meant it a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's still interesting because we're talking about DeepSeek here, and obviously, most people are wondering, hey, I thought India was an IT powerhouse and we had so much startup muscle and we knew how to get things done. Why didn't DeepSeek come out of India? Why has it come out of China? You tweeted a few days ago, $2 million to build a DeepSeek alternative in India. It's now easier than ever. In all seriousness, koi transfer kar do, for the love of God, thank me later. Obviously a part of you was kidding, but a part of you was not, because you are actually an AI founder in India. So tell us what you meant by that, Ananay.
Question. Thanks for having me, first of all. Second, what I actually meant by that was, I think scarcity does indeed breed innovation. So I really wanted us to build something like this first and not China. And I think we could have built it, absolutely. But I do think that there is a fundamental problem in the VC/startup ecosystem here, because we're just funding the next 7-minute food delivery startup, right? We just want cappuccinos in the next 7 minutes for some reason. But see, what I exactly mean by this is, if you look at DeepSeek's paper, right, you'll see that all their weights are public, what they've done and why it took so less to train all the data is also public, right? They use this thing called auxiliary loss-free load balancing, right?
Yeah.
And essentially what it does is it trains only the 5% of the verified tokens instead of everything, all the 100% tokens, which is essentially what Meta and Google and all these other people do, right? So I think that significantly reduces the computational needs and by extension, the energy needs in order for us to create a model like this. but yeah, that's essentially my thesis. And see, even if people wanted to build something like this in India, I don't think, I mean, they'd be laughed off from the room, right? I don't think people would take them seriously. But since now it's been done, I think it's time for us to catch up real quick.
But what has really angered me deeply, and Priya, I'll come to you, is a video of Sam Altman from a couple of years ago. Everyone remembers this. He was in India for a summit, a media summit, where someone had asked him about what it would take for a group of talented Indian engineers to come up with the next ChatGPT or something that becomes truly global in the world of AI, and he essentially condescendingly said it's completely hopeless. You're never going to be able to match what the United States can do. And look where Sam Altman is right now. He's eating humble pie because of what DeepSeek has done. I'm taking a great deal of vicarious satisfaction from that. But the truth of the matter is DeepSeek isn't Indian. And most people are wondering, when is that time going to come? Is that even possible? Priya, what do you think? What is the answer to that question?
I think first I want to point to that Sam Altman video that you mentioned about. So DeepSeek has clearly captured global attention as a groundbreaking AI model. But having said that, it's also a wake-up call, right? That emerging models can come and will come, right? So it's a powerful reminder that nobody can sit and just be complacent that I am the king of the world. So that sort of a thing. But having said that, India truly is capable, has all the right ingredients, resources, massive data center, ability to collect the data to be that pioneer in the AI model creation.
But you actually run a company that has so much to do with AI. Could you give us a prescription? Priya, I want to know. I want a prescription from the both of you today. If you were given a task saying, listen, I'm going to give you 2 years, I'm going to give you a certain amount of money, all of those things that you've just mentioned, that Ananay mentioned, venture capital, the freedom to meet your targets, whatever it is, what would it take for something like that to happen? What's missing is what I'm trying to find out.
I don't think there's a missing ingredient. I particularly feel that in this quest of innovation, we are sort of leaving behind the data ethics, privacy, and security concerns. I think we can carve a differentiator for ourselves. India could carve a differentiator for ourselves by really implementing data ethics and data privacy and consciously creating the technology which is truly user-centric. I think that could be that missing ingredient that we are all sort of concerned about DeepSeek right now, particularly when some users have also mentioned that there's been stonewalling going on when it's certain questions, etc. So I think those are the initiatives where we can showcase ourselves that, yes, we've created a transparent model that thrives on user centricity.
You make an amazingly interesting point, and Anana, I want you to come in on that. Priya says instead of waging a war in a battle that's going to be difficult, the catch-up battle, the same thing where you had Sam Altman smugly say it's hopeless. We've achieved so much. You're never going to catch up, to what we've achieved. Priya says, we should think in a different direction and break ground in something that people haven't done so far. Privacy and those issues are one of them. But as a founder, as a CEO, and, as someone with skin in the game, Ananay, what are those ingredients that would be required for that to happen? Specific.
So I do agree with what she said. I think there is a need for ethical data sourcing. And see, a way to do that is to partner up with news channels, for example, right? That is the first thing that comes to mind. Because see, a lot of the news channels here in India have a lot of regional data, right? So Marathi data, Telugu, Bengali, etc., right? So first and foremost, I think the best way to ethically gather that data is to partner up with news houses and any other media house that does have that sort of a data. That's number one. The other thing, I sort of partially agree because I do think that we should have our own LLM. I remember Nandan Lenikani said we should focus on small language models, which I don't think, which is sort of like defeating. It is a defeatist mindset, the way I look at it. And I think getting data is not the hard problem. And as she said, we already have the right ingredients. But what we should do is we should work more on the model side of things. I think we can even further, optimize the model. For example, the KV caching layer, right? I think we could also do more work on that. But yeah, absolutely. I think building something like an index TTS, which is biasless, right?
Yes.
Especially made for India, and essentially something that is built for the world, right? Because we haven't really seen a product that came for India and that everyone used, right? We've seen that TikTok came from China and the entire world used it, right? But that is yet to happen for India, right?
Correct.
I think we should absolutely, focus on doing that. I think it is a task worth, moving.
You
It
know,
is ambitious
because the
to do it.
DeepSeek example itself, Priya, has like you rightly said, pointed out that a very lean company, with not a large workforce, a small workforce, a pretty small budget, relatively speaking, a few $1 million is what we're seeing in reports, in a matter of 2 years, has achieved something where Nvidia has lost 598 billion. On the stock markets, and it's a bloodbath. Even OpenAI is feeling the heat in a very, very big way. I don't think they'd ever expected to be dethroned from the Apple App Store, by this upstart from China. Isn't that actually good news? That it means that in India, we don't need to wait for, like 100 things to suddenly align and, big, sort of earthquake level shifts to happen in policy for something like this to happen. It could literally happen in a kind of skunkworks kind of scenario where a small group can do something truly, truly innovative. It doesn't require sort of monumental changes. It can happen from anywhere.
Certainly, yes. I mean, like I said, India has all the right ingredients to lead the AI revolution. We need the talent, we need the robust IT ecosystem, and the sheer scale of data generation as well, which Ananya already pointed out.
Yeah.
I think there is also a unique opportunity from a data centers, semiconductor manufacturing, and supercomputing capabilities that these AI models truly need, right? As, for example, self-reliance in these areas would be a super push towards this as well from the hardware companies. I mean, we can already see that with DeepSeek emergence, there's a push and market volatility that we're seeing with respect to hardware companies. That sort of self-reliance being in India would be a powerful push as well. And again, I would quote that the ethical and inclusive AI is the way to go that prioritizes ethics, transparency, and inclusion.
I love the fact that we've got specific answers from the both of you, and the reason is both of you are in this world, and what happens in this world affects your businesses and the work that you do. And so I'm really glad that I called you both on this show. We've gotten a better picture, some real prescriptive answers, and hopefully we'll take this conversation forward. I can guarantee you that stakeholders, the government, they're all watching, and hopefully there will be some lessons in how to craft what the next steps are really going to look like, whether it is in terms of policy, whether it in terms of capital, whether it's in terms of how we do things with other countries. We'll be looking at this very, very closely. We pay a great amount of attention to what India does with AI going forward. Ananya and Priya, appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me on this discussion.